Commission. We'd like to start the meeting by starting the pledge. If we all could, please.
It's away from the...
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now if we can all take a moment to silence our cell phones.
Oh, yes.
We used to say cell phones and pagers. That's how old I am. All right, so maybe we'll go ahead and do the roll, please.
Okay. Paschek.
Here.
Vargas.
Here.
Sepasi.
Here.
Fritz.
Here.
Bettenhausen.
Here.
Gaskell.
Here.
Schuck.
Here.
There we go. We're all here. Before we move any further, because I always forget to do this, this is the copy of the official notice, the public notice made about this meeting tonight, so proper notification was made to the media. They're not here. They need to come, but. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we have the minutes of the last meeting we had that we need to approve on. So if I can get a motion to approve those minutes, please.
Motion.
Okay, it's been moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor of approving the minutes of the last meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, I like that. All right, on the docket tonight, we do have one hearing, and this is for a fence variation at 8736 West Brown, right here in Tinley. For all these who did drive-bys and that, you know where it is and what it is, so we can go ahead and lead off. Let's have anybody who's going to speak tonight, that would be you two folks, you two nice people. If you could stand, we're going to just get you sworn in. So your testimony, he can stand too, because he can talk if he wants. Okay, do you solemnly swear that the information that you give during this meeting time, or during this hearing, will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but, so help you? Yes. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Then, Dean, I think we're ready to lead off. Have I forgotten anything?
No, I think
Okay.
you're good. So, yeah, the case before you here is, well, did you open the hearing?
Yeah, we
I opened,
Okay.
I need a motion to open this
Sorry.
hearing.
Motion.
Skip that part.
Okay,
Second.
moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay.
Did you make the motion?
No.
They kind of double
I think
moved.
Robert did. I'll be a second.
You gotta toss a coin.
All right, so the hearing's at 8736 Brown Lane. It's a fence variation to allow a fence to extend 21.75 feet into the required secondary front yard where a fence encroachment is not permitted. Again, at 8736 Brown Lane. It's in the R3 PD, which is single-family residential, and is the Red Cliff Place planned unit development. So I'll give my quick little spiel about corner fences quicker than the slide is. Basically, the fence code's gone through a number of revisions throughout the years. Most recently, the last update was December 2017. That was kind of worked out by you guys, Plan Commission, Village Board, to kind of come up with what the current code is, which is a little more, at least clear than previous codes have been. So there was some creating different codes all the time creates non-conforming situations. Corner lots are always a challenge because there's visibility concerns, there's aesthetic concerns. They have a kind of unique place there. The current code basically allows a fence at the setback line in a secondary front yard with, or corner side yard is what some people call it. You can, through an administrative approval, we can grant up to 10 feet encroachment outside of that, but it has to be a 4-foot and open design fence, and then not create any visibility concerns or go into, if there's someone else behind them, go into their front yard. So, but with variations for these, we typically are asking, is there a hardship related to the physical property? Is the property unique in some way that is different than other corner side yard lots? Being a corner lot itself, just it by itself is not a hardship because this code applies to all corner lots. So it would, thus, if you granted it based on that, you'd just be granting it to basically every corner lot. So the question is always, is there something unique about this property So that way we're not just creating precedent and kind of eroding what the code is supposed to be doing. So my little corner lot spiel there. So this is the subject property, a picture of the front of the house there. Here's the current property. So it's Radcliffe Place subdivision. It's a little bit newer subdivision that was approved in 1995. Homes were built, I believe, until 2005, and maybe a little bit after that even. They're a little bit larger lots, larger homes, most of them primarily brick, so at least on the first floor. The current property has an elevated deck in the rear yard and a play set that exists on the property that's kind of in that secondary front yard there in the corner on the left of this, on the west side of the property. So there's been no previous fence installations that we've seen on this property since it was constructed. So it's just kind of been open to 88th Avenue there to the west. Here's kind of a view of where they're looking to install the fence, and you can see the place up there. So the zoning's R3 single family residential, surrounded by R3 single family residential as well. The lot does meet the size and width requirements of the zoning district, so it's not smaller or extremely large, and basically meets those minimum for a corner lot. So the petitioner is proposing to install a 6-foot high privacy PVC fence that would run along the west property line and then go to the rear corner of their house and come over. That is 21.75 feet out, which seems pretty extensive compared to most of ours, but there's kind of a unique setup here that I can get into in a little bit. It's important to, I guess, point out that a fence could be installed meeting the current code either at 6 setback to the house or 10 feet with an open design fence. The petitioners kind of noted that it would kind of look funny out there that there is a fence line that is kind of established rear yards going north of this property down the block, and that there's no. They're planning on stopping the fence at the rear yard of their house just to kind of limit the visual effects of a corner fence. And then also that there's no visibility concerns. They're looking to do this just to have more useful backyard space so they can keep their place out where it's at.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is it going to match the fence that goes north of their property?
Yeah, I can get to that. I
It's
believe
gonna
it's
be
the
just like
same.
that?
Yeah, I believe it's the same material, same color. I don't know if the one north of their property, I believe, is maybe semi-privacy.
No.
It's
It's about-
okay. Yeah,
It's about
so-
25%.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
3/4 private.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so there's I think there's maybe a little gap in there or something.
Well, it's very little, but
Yeah, so
either way.
If you can kind of look at the map here, that blue line is kind of all of those lots' rear yard. It's a pretty weird setup for a block. Normally you don't fit 2 cul-de-sacs into a lot, into a block like that. So it's kind of created this weird situation which doesn't exist very many places in the village. I found like 2 other instances. One's actually just north of this. If you look on a map, the same situation happens, but there's not very many situations where you get this whole block of rear yards here. So those are primarily all white PVC fences. It's a mix of the kind of semi-privacy fences where there's some gaps in there. There's some that are about 50%, and then there's some that are privacy. So the petitioner is proposing to do a privacy fence though for theirs. So I guess the basis for this is that the proposed fence basically continues that line, and that actually meeting the code, which would either be the blue line on this slide would be they could legally do a 6-foot privacy fence, or the purple line's kind of where they could do a 4-foot open design fence. And then the orange line's what they're proposing here, but they're basically stating, this is a weird weird situation where you have a corner side yard backing up to what's actually a true backyard just to the north of them. Normally, it either connects to another secondary front yard or to someone's actual front yard. So those are the situations where you could have driveways come off the side. In this situation, there's not going to be any driveways off that side of the block on 88th Avenue ever that we would permit. So that's about it for our staff report. We don't have too many concerns with the aesthetics. We don't think there'll be much of a precedent set here just because of that unique situation. There's only a few that may meet the same situation. We'd look at those kind of in this case to make sure that, yes, it looks right. Yes, there's no actual visibility or safety concerns that we have. So,
Can I ask a question? On the other side of the house, where is the fence going to end or be?
You're talking on the east side of the property then?
So connected to the neighbor, where would that fence be?
Directly even with the neighbors next door.
Be just
Okay,
off the
yeah,
sidewalk.
so a little bit further up on that side,
Okay.
I guess. That would be permitted to go there per our code if they want to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, good information to have. So they're connecting on that side as well, but
Okay.
that part would be permitted to go there, as long as it doesn't go into their front yard.
Okay.
I think that's it for our staff report.
That's for you guys, okay. Would you folks like to address? Sure. On this?
Basically what he said. We've got the play set back there, and for his safety and security, we want to put the fence. It would match up with our neighbor's fence going along 88th Avenue. We plan on putting the same type of fence, so aesthetically it's going to look the same. From what we saw, there's no visual hindrance from the fence coming
For
down
either
Brown
intersection.
Lane or coming down 88th Avenue.
And also, like she said, I mean, this is more so, for safety and security, because, while we've had him playing outside, obviously, I wouldn't leave him outside alone, but, having an open yard, especially on a corner lot with a busy street,
On
you
88th
leave it open for a lot of possibilities and bad issues with him. We've also had where, him and I, we've been outside and there's been loose dogs running up, into our backyard up to him, which kind of scares us also. And, it being on a busier street like 88th Avenue, we just like to have, more so the safety and,
And
issue
privacy.
and privacy because of how busy, 88th Avenue can get. The play set where you saw the picture with the play set was the only spot in our yard, which is level enough to be able to place that. Now, with where the village allows the initial fence to be placed, would make it impossible for us to keep his play set. Not to mention that with the current thing where it's allowed to be placed, we would have to spend thousands of dollars to have the sprinkler system, in-ground sprinkler system moved to be able to match with the new fence line, opposed to where, if we get the approval to match the entire block, 88th Avenue's block, none of this has to occur, financially, we wouldn't be out, an extra thousands of dollars to move, for the place set, which we wouldn't be able to use, and to move the sprinkler system as well. And not to mention, having the 6-foot fence going directly off the back of our house into the rear neighbor's house would be just really aesthetically unpleasing for anybody who drove up and down 88th Avenue to see that. And, 21 feet of their fence is sitting opposed to, ours right off the back of the house.
Is that everything?
Yes, sir.
Folks, got any questions for these people?
Are you going to match the fence to the north?
We're
A little bit
gonna,
of-
if it's possible, if they're still selling it, I mean, what we initially had looked at was, I'm almost exact. Like I said, I know theirs is a few years old, and I don't know that we can find the exact match, but it's gonna match.
The white vinyl.
The white vinyl, definitely.
Same to the fence.
And it's gonna
Is there going to
be
be any kind of openness, or are you looking strictly board-on-board privacy?
just borderline privacy.
Board and board privacy?
Yes, sir.
Because I think that fence to the north of them has only got about a half inch.
It's got
I think,
25%.
if I'm not mistaken, I think they may have like a little gap, like opening where you have the white top to it, and there may be just, like clear, just for aesthetics,
But we're looking to
design.
match it, if we can find the same
Yeah,
fence.
there's about a
we wanna match it.
25% visibility gap in
Between
the
the
fences,
sides.
in the fence to the north. It wasn't much.
Right.
Yeah.
There's only one fence, I think, out of the 7 or 8 going north that's full
Full
privacy.
privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking to match it just because it would also look better in our yard to have it matching and not having all
Absolutely.
these different
Yes.
fence,
As they go
things.
further
So we
north,
definitely
they're
want to
more-
try to match
they're more
it.
open.
Yeah.
We got a section in there that's got basically just little spindles.
Mhm.
But that wouldn't work.
So you're committing to a white fence, we're not gonna see a bright yellow or orange?
Pink? No, it's definitely white
No,
fence.
white fence.
White fence, definitely.
Or purple, yeah.
Vinyl and to match, like I said, is if we can match it
If we can match
completely,
it-
we will, as long as we can find that type of fencing.
But
then,
we will get
yeah,
it
we
as
definitely
close
want
to it as
match.
possible, just for aesthetics.
It'll look better.
One thing I did notice on the fences further north, it looked like some of the fences had large gates maybe in them, or sections that can come out maybe for, I don't know if they're storing RVs in their yards or what. You plan on doing anything like that?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Absolutely.
They're
No,
gonna
we
only
don't want
have
to gate
one
on that
gate,
side
and
at
that
all.
will be on the
For
side to the east.
Yeah.
It's for lawn cutting, so they can cut the parkway.
Hmm.
There's a little blurb in here, and I don't know if you're aware of it or not. It says, "It is important to note that if the variation is applied, the portion of the lot and the enclosed fence is still considered secondary front yard, and accessory structures such as a shed, deck, or pool would not be permitted in that space unless additional variations were granted."
No plans to put any of those
Okay.
over there at all.
Yeah, it's like a plane. Yeah, so the place that's.
Just the place that's there now
We have no
would
plans
would be
to
the
put
only
a
thing
pool
that
or
stays there.
No.
But that's
We
something
wanna
that
take
we
the
just
boss's
see
place
happen a
over.
lot, just so you guys are aware of that.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Otherwise, you'd have to come back.
Pardon?
You'd have to come
Right,
back
yeah.
before us with another variation request.
Oh, you mean for?
If we were to put a pool or a shed or
Yeah, we have
something.
no plans for in-ground pool or any pools
Or
whatsoever.
build it below 6 foot.
Okay, is there any other questions for this one? Hearing none, Dan, is there any findings of facts that you want to include?
I'll just do a quick summary. Basically, the first one's that the property cannot yield a reasonable return if it met the conditions of the code. Basically, it can, but that it might detract from the value just
This is
of
a PC part.
the visual effects of what that fence might look like otherwise. And then the usable space in their yard, so. Also that the property has a unique circumstance, and that's with the secondary front yard backing up to a line of true backyards, really, and an established fence line in the back.
Okay.
And then that variation, if granted, will alter the essential character of the locality, and basically this will, I think, be a better visual appearance than if they match the code. So I think this actually helps retain the visual character of the neighborhood. So that's what we had for our findings. There's the other couple ones that you guys can always use.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, there were no, there's no problem with visibility from the street side or anything like that, no traffic problems. 88th Avenue is a semi-busy street. I know people do tend to roar up and down there.
Yes.
At any given
That's
time,
fine.
and that's noisy too, so it's a help
Right
to
there.
Yeah,
temper the
yeah.
noise for you. All right, is there anything else anybody has to say at this point?
Make a motion to consider.
I'm sorry,
Make a motion to consider it?
we've got to close the hearing first.
Oh, we gotta do, okay.
Yeah, how about we get a motion to close the hearing?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor of closing the hearing, Sue? Say.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Sign. Folks want to have a seat, we'll talk about this for a minute. Does anybody have anything pro or con that they want to bring out to us here before we actually call a question?
This is a very reasonable request, in my opinion.
Absolutely. That's what I told you.
Very unique. The two cul-de-sacs make it unique, and absolutely 100%. And as long as they follow the same fence standard that's over there, with some opacity in the fencing, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, so if they build a pink fence, we're going over.
I just like a little bit, the same pink fence we all have.
There you go.
I just like a little bit of opacity, so a little bit of visibility.
is right. Anybody else?
That's me.
Hey, you got a pink fence, so you don't notice the pink elephant.
I don't know this is a pink elephant.
There you go. What about you side, this side? You guys got anything to throw out at us? No?
No, I'll just say that I think having the fence line line up with your neighbors is a really nice idea. I said if you
Very
would.
positive idea.
Same
Absolutely.
materials.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I think it would be aesthetically pleasing as opposed to what is recommended that would, off the back of your house, which I think would look absolutely
Different.
different. That's a good word. That's a good word. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Well,
Now-
okay, then the chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to consider it.
Do you need to read the whole thing?
I'll read it. You want me to read the whole thing?
Read the whole thing, absolutely.
If the zoning board part? Or just below
Just a
that?
motion, make a
I
motion
make
to
a motion.
recommend.
I make a motion to recommend that the village board grant 21 3/4 foot variation that the petitioner Kelly Kayupa and from section 3.J. under fence regulations of the zoning ordinance to permit a 6 foot tall privacy fence to extend 21 3/4 feet into the required secondary front yard where the fence encroachment is not permitted at 8736 Brown Lane. In the R3 PD Single Family Residence Radcliffe Place PUD zoning district, consistent with the list of submitted plans as attached herein, and adopt findings of fact as proposed by the village staff, and as may be amended by the Zoning Board of Appeals at this meeting.
Okay, does anybody have any amendments to propose to this? Or are we going as it is?
Just like it is.
The only amendment I would propose is that it has the same opacity as the one to the north. So it's not.
And they've already said they're gonna come as close as they can. Fence style's changing, there might be a little bit, but I don't think that's an issue here.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys if you want to chat. As proposed, they'd be allowed to build it as a straight privacy fence, but that would be up to you guys if you want to require it to be.
Isn't the 6 foot privacy in here though? Do we have to add into that too, or?
The 6 foot privacy is in the motion, so.
Yeah, I think we're okay there.
Yeah,
But
the
that
only
would
thing
allow
in
it to
it
be
is
fully private.
requiring that it matches this fence to the north. That isn't really in there, but,
If that's what you wanted to say, that it
Well-
has to be spacing in there,
yeah, I think,
you guys could.
I think they could build it with that little space in between, don't you think?
Yeah, like I said, we'll try to find it to match the best we can to the fence to the north of us.
I don't want the solid privacy. I like a little bit of space.
Sure.
So do you want a condition in there?
I mean, that can just be, it can be just part of this hearing, that's what you guys are voting on. Unless you feel like that needs to be a condition, you can add it as a condition. But.
Is that what you want? You want to make that condition?
But I have a question, if we make that a condition and they can't find that fence, then can they not get that
Yeah,
fence?
I
And
would-
then they have to come back.
Yeah,
don't need it
I would
exactly
recommend
the
it just
same.
leaving it as, if you feel comfortable enough with what they've said here to. Because also, as a
Right.
condition too, the person to the north could build a wood fence tomorrow. So if they want to take that down and put a wood fence up, it just so happens it's a PVC and they can make it all privacy tomorrow too, without,
Yeah.
and meet the code. So that's kind of.
I personally would like to see it like it is to the north, but if it isn't, I don't have a problem with it either way.
Yeah, I don't think it's a deal breaker.
No.
So I guess it's up to you guys. I would recommend maybe they've said they would try and match it as much as possible.
Close.
But up to you guys.
I don't need it to match as much as, 'cause the style may be better with what they choose.
You just prefer to have a little bit of space.
Right.
Okay.
So we're gonna leave it go as is?
So noted.
Yeah.
Just a verbal recommendation, okay. Well then, you can call the-
Second?
Pardon me?
A second?
Second.
There was a second, wasn't there? Didn't
Yeah.
you second right away?
I second.
Yeah, Bob second.
Paschek?
Aye.
Vargas?
Aye.
Fritz?
Aye.
Bettenhausen?
Aye.
Gaskell?
Yes.
Chuck?
Yes.
Sepasi?
Yes.
Yay.
Okay, so your motion's carried. Now, this is only one step in the process. You have another step to go through, and that's to have this process go before the village board. And Dan?
November 6th.
November 6th. And they actually have a one read meeting because it's a unanimous vote, correct?
Correct. So it'll
So
just be
November
that one.
6th, the village board is going to hear this, and they will vote at that meeting on you because there's no need for a second reading.
Okay.
So for this step, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We'll look forward to seeing the fence up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if it's pink, you got trouble. Thank you very much for your time. You're welcome to stick around for the rest of the meeting. But you don't have to.
And if you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting if you don't want to. I have your check, but when you drop it off, when you drop off the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring it tomorrow.
Okay, no
Okay, real
problem.
good.
Thank you guys
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you
very much for your time.
Take care now. Good night.
Thank you again.
Okay, I think this really brings us to anything that we might have for the good of the order. And I know, Dan, you said you had something.
Yeah, so the October 25th ZBA will be canceled. If anyone hasn't, I know quite a few of you have. If you haven't gone to the fair housing training yet, that is on the 25th though. So that's 6 to 9 o'clock. I'll be there, so you get to hang out with me for 3
So
hours.
I might go again.
I think everybody's registered for it, right?
You said you were going to take care of it.
I took care of you, but everybody else,
Don't tell Teresa, tell Tarika.
Tarika.
Yes, that's.
Yeah, so if anyone hasn't, just let us know. We can pass it along though. Just make sure you're there for that. Outside of that, just development news in general. The Boulevard's going Tuesday, October 16th to the village board for their first reading of the development as well as the incentive agreement on that date. So that's coming up on Tuesday. Big downtown development, so that'll be pretty substantial. Next to that is going to be Bremen Station, where the old Bremen cash store used to be. That is going to Plan Commission October 18th for a workshop. So another downtown development going on there. And then North Street is, there's a developer involved in talking about it. That's developed some initial plans, so there's some stuff moving forward up there as well.
Do we know when the last of the houses, I know Mr. Teen's old house is still there, is that, when did it get torn down?
On the North Street
Yeah, the North
stuff?
Street, yeah.
Oh, we haven't gotten that far yet, but that's part of the plan is to, all those homes would be gone, I believe was the
That's
last
the only
plan I
one
saw.
left, I think.
So, oh, okay, yeah, then it's gone. On those last plans, so, that would all be demoed over there.
And hopefully the road work will be done before the snow.
Yeah.
I
And
said
the
hopefully.
South Street one, or Oak
Yeah.
Park too, I guess, yeah. I know they're working on those. Legacy code text amendments too are gonna be coming up, so. We've been talking about that for a while, and I know Paula's been working on them. Pretty hard to figure out a solution that'll actually, isn't just a Band-Aid solution that causes other effects, so. We've been working on that. I think we have some good ideas and some good solutions there. So, that's it.
That's all you have? Does anybody else have anything that they want?
You know, I don't know if anybody here knows, but when are they going to clean up that mess on 175th Street?
I
They've been
know
cleaning
that's
it out. There's nothing in there
Yeah.
that's,
So it's not village work, it's MWRD.
well, I understand that, but
Yeah, so the last I heard was they were gonna clean it up for the winter, but the work's gonna go into next year. But I've heard they're going to clean it up
because
for the winter.
all that piping and stuff is done. I mean, whatever it was doing is done.
They-
There's no pump in there, there's nothing
Yeah,
in there.
they're doing it's MWRD stuff, and I know they're doing something else, but we've tried to kind of push them along, but there's only so much we can do when
I
they're
wonder if their
within their
website has
jurisdiction.
anything about it, because it's been there a long time.
Yeah, I know it's got an issue with, there's a big underground tank system that they're working on that has had some issues, so that's part of the delay, because it was already supposed to be done.
Under the street?
Yeah. There's big vaults that are down there, so that no one ever knows exist, that they've had issues with, so. But I know there's been issues with that intersection in general, so I
Well,
think we're trying to get them to clean it up for the winter. Public Works has been working on that, so.
Anything else? Well, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Don's got that.
Second.
Bob's got second. All those in favor of adjourn, do we just, no, we don't have to roll call that. Anybody? All those in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Me? No, I'm just kidding.
There's always one. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Y'all have a great evening.
You too.
And I'll see some of you on the 25th.
Hey, 7:30.
I know, it's like that. Nailed.